If you're a creator who's putting your heart and soul into your blog posts, your emails, and your podcasts, but nobody is taking notice. If your work is going underappreciated, the amount of people on your email list is not growing, the amount of people listening to your podcast is not going up, the amount of people visiting your blog is staying flat, I feel you. This has been one of my biggest challenges since I got into this game. But I paid a lot of money to a mentor to figure out what I was doing wrong. I want to share what he taught me. I don't want you to be stuck like I was for so long. It turns out I didn't understand the larger game being played on social media, how to think about all the different platforms out there and how to link them together so that I can actually grow an audience and get clients. When I started out, I put hours and hours into my blog posts, into my podcasts, into my emails, but I looked at my metrics and I knew I had a problem. Everything was stagnant. And then I would see these other people out there that had explosive growth in their businesses and just be frustrated because I felt like I had as much value or more to offer. I shared my frustration with my mentor. He said, "Brian, your content is great. You're struggling because you don't understand the game being played on social media. You don't understand the difference between getting a new person to find out about you versus building up trust with someone enough to get them to buy from you." And that was my first big learning moment, is that there's two phases that happen. One is someone discovers you for the first time. Two is they stick around long enough to build up trust with you to the point where they're ready to make a purchase. Let's start by talking about number two, getting someone to trust you long enough to buy. Google did this massive study where they were trying to figure out how long does someone need to spend with a brand before they're comfortable making a purchasing decision. And they discovered that the magic number is 8 hours. The average person spends 8 hours with a new brand. During that time, they're subconsciously asking questions like, do I like this person? Do I feel like I can trust them? Is this person credible? And can they solve a problem that I have? And since it takes at least 8 hours for that to happen, they're not going to rack that time up very quickly if they're just consuming your 60-second Instagram reels. That's why you need something called a relationship platform to deepen the trust with them. You need a platform that gravitates towards longer form, more authentic content where someone can really get to know you and decide whether or not they can trust you before they ever become your customer. Relationship platforms are places like your blog, your email list, and your podcast. They are the best place to rack up those 8 trust building hours before someone can become a client. When I first got into coaching, in the real estate coaching days, my best clients were the ones who had been listening to my podcast for 6 to 12 months. By the time they sent me a message, they had already decided that we were going to work together. We just literally had to work out the formalities. So having a relationship platform is critical because without one, nobody would have a way to build enough trust with you to ever buy your stuff. But here's the kicker. Relationship platforms are notoriously bad for attracting new eyeballs. Podcasts don't have a discovery mechanism. So iTunes is not really recommending your podcast to new people. Your blog posts are very unlikely to rank high enough in a Google search to get any kind of traffic. And no one's going to just magically show up on your email list. You've got to do something to grow that. So what do you do? That is where the second important concept comes in, which is called a discovery platform. Discovery platforms are the ones you know well. Instagram, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. These are where you go to get new eyeballs onto your stuff because most people do not know who you are. And this is true no matter how big you get. So you got to go out there and make noise on a discovery platform. This is how you grow the relationship platform. You might post on Instagram and then promote your podcast. You might post a YouTube video and then promote your email list. So the flow goes from discovery platforms to relationship platforms. And here's where I got it wrong. First of all, I just didn't understand everything we've talked about up to this point. The second thing that I was doing wrong was trying to build multiple discovery and multiple relationship platforms at the same time. This is a really bad idea, and if you try to do it, your results will suffer. There is a game being played on each of these platforms that is different from the next. Like succeeding on YouTube is about your title, your thumbnail, whether or not you include keywords, the hook, the editing. If you decided that YouTube was going to be your discovery platform, that is a full-time job trying to figure that out. You can't also do Instagram correctly. You can repurpose content and chuck it on there, but in my experience, it doesn't really lead to that much growth. So unless you have a huge budget to hire an agency to help you convert your content effectively so that you can be doing all the platforms correct at once, just don't do it. It's going to lead to a lot of overwhelm. You're not going to really have fun in your day-to-day because you're going to be like, just pick one discovery platform and go deep on that. Once you figure it out, systemize, automate it, then you can add other platforms. And then when your discovery platform is bringing in new eyeballs, pick just one relationship platform so you can deepen your relationship with those people. You may be asking yourself, so how do I decide on which platforms to choose? There is nuance to this decision, but I operate off of one golden rule. All the platforms will work. Pick the one that you feel like you could do with joy over the long haul. This isn't an overnight success kind of thing. Pick something that is sustainable. If you love to write, you might get on X and then have an email newsletter. If you love talking, you might go on YouTube and then have a podcast. Either way, you need a simple, predictable plan. Get more eyeballs and to deepen the relationship with those people. If you continue to do both and you rinse and repeat, this is as close to a foolproof plan as you can get for success. Check this video out if you want to learn how to take people off of your platforms and actually turn them into paying clients, which is the next big step. I think you're going to love it. Appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time.